Hi guys, welcome to my next tutorial. Today I would like to show you how to crochet the beautiful small Holy Communion bag. For this tutorial I used 4mm crochet hook and the normal decaying yarn. If you want to make this project for bigger size, you have to use different kind of yarn and the different size of the hook. This pattern, this project is perfect for not only Holy Communion bag. You can use this bag as a cosmetic bag or even small evening purse. So let's get started. Our work, we have to start by making slip knot, then chain of 18, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18. Into the second chain from the hook, so first and second, we have to work single crochet and then in each chain across one single crochet. And into the last chain we have to work 3 single crochets. 1, 2 and 3. Now we are going on the opposite side, and into the we have to skip the stitch where we've done the 3 single crochets, and we have to work 1 single crochet in each stitch across. At the end of our row, when we've done the first single crochet into the same stitch, we have to work 2 more single crochets. 1 and 2, and then slip stitch into the first single crochet. Chain 1, round number 2, and now in each stitch across, so into the first single crochet, so into the same stitch as we've done chain 1, we have to work 1 single crochet. Chain 1 is not counted as any stitch, and then in each single crochet across we have to work 1 single crochet. And now we've got 3 single crochets as we work into the last chain. So in each of the 3 single crochets we have to work 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. So into the first one I am working 2 single crochets, into the second I am working 2 single crochets as well, and into the third 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. And now in each stitch again 1 single crochet, until we will have the last 3 single crochets on this round. Then we will have to work 2 single crochets in each stitch. Now we've got the last 3 stitches, so 2 single crochets in each stitch, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and last one, 1 and 2. Slip stitch into the chain 1. Round number 3, chain 1, single crochet into the same stitch as we've done slip stitch, and again we have to work 1 single crochet in each stitch until we will have 2 single crochets in 1 stitch from the previous row. Okay, so now I've got the first stitch as we've done 2 in 1 single crochet, and into the first one we have to work 2 single crochets in 1 stitch, then into the second only 1 single crochet, into the third 2 single crochets in 1 stitch, into the fourth 1, into the fifth 2 single crochets in 1 stitch, 1 and 2, into the sixth 1. And now we have to work 1 single crochet in each stitch until we will have the last 6 stitches. I've got the first one, so again into the first stitch 2 single crochets, into the second 1, into the third 2 single crochets in 1 stitch, into the fourth 1, into the fifth 2 single crochets, and into the sixth 1. So we have to skip the stitch when we've done the slip stitch and slip stitch into the chain 1. Round number 4, chain 1, single crochet into the same stitch as we've done slip stitch, then in each stitch 1 single crochet until we will have the first single crochet after when we've done 2 single crochets in one stitch from the previous row. So now I've got the first stitch when we work 2 single crochets in one stitch, so into the next 2 we still have to work 1 single crochet, and then into the stitch when we work only 1 single crochet we have to make 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, and again into the next 2 stitches when we've done 2 single crochets in one stitch from the previous row we have to work 1 single crochet in each stitch, and when we've got only 1 single crochet we have to work 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, 1 single crochet in next 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and into the next one 2 single crochets in one stitch, and now in each stitch we have to work 1 single crochet until we will have the stitch after 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So now I've got the first stitch when I work 2 single crochet in the previous row, so I'm working in those 2 1 single crochet, and then into the stitch when I work only 1 single crochet I am making 2 single crochets in one stitch, 1 and 2, into the next 2 stitches 1 single crochet, then 2, I've done wrong, so I had first 2 single crochets here, so now I've got the first stitch with 1 single crochet, so just here I have to work 2 single crochets, then into the next 2 stitches 1 single crochet, and again 2 single crochets in one stitch, 1 and 2, 1 single crochet in next 2 stitches, and into the last stitch 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, slip stitch into the first single crochet. Now we will start working on our sides, so chain of 3, 1, 2, 3, into the same stitch as we've done slip stitch, we have to work 1 double crochet, so chain of 3 that counts as a first double crochet, then chain 1 and 2 more double crochets into the same stitch, 1 and 2. Now we have to skip the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and into the third one we have to work another shell, so 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, then chain 1 and 2 more double crochets, 1 and 2, and again we have to skip the next 2 stitches. Into the third one we have to work shell, so 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 double crochets. So we have to repeat this pattern all the way around. Skip the next 2 stitches, into the third one make shell, chain 1 and 2 double crochets. Okay, I am at the end of my round, so I've done 19 shells in total. So at the end we have to make a slip stitch into the top of our chain 3, then in each stitch until we will have inside chain 1 space. Now we are in chain 1 space, so we have to make chain of 3, 1, 2, 3. This counts as a first double crochet, and into the chain 1 space we have to work another shell. So 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 more double crochets, 1 and 2. Now we are going to the next chain 1 space, so into the center of the shell from the previous row, and we are working next shell, 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 double crochets. We are going to the next chain 1 space and we are making another shell, 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 double crochets. And we have to repeat this pattern all the way around. At the end again we have to work slip stitch into the top of chain 3, then we have to make a slip stitch until we will inside chain 1 space, and we have to make exactly the same as the previous row, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, 1 double crochet into the same chain 1 space, so we will work the shell, chain 1, 2 more double crochets, 1 and 2, and then we are going to the next chain 1 space and we have to work another shell. So this pattern we have to repeat all the way around and then for the next 5 rows. So in total we should have 8 rows with the shells. I've done my 8 rows with shell stitch, so at the end the 8th one again slip stitch into the top of chain 3, and now we are going straight to the chain 1 space, and into the chain 1 space we have to work 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. Then we are going to the second chain 1 space and we have to make 2 single crochets as well. And now in each chain 1 space from the previous row we have to work 2 single crochets. So we have to repeat this pattern all the way around. At the end we should have 38 single crochets. At the end of my row I've done slip stitch into the first single crochet. So now we have to find stitches on to the sides of our back. So at the end we can fasten off, cut the yarn, because our stitches are finished not exactly into the side. We have to cut the yarn and join into the next row. But now we have to find the first stitch onto the side, and then we have to count 19 stitches. So this will be the first stitch, and then 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 and 19. Into the next stitch we have to put another marker, and then we should have again 19 stitches. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 and 19. So now we have to take again our yarn. We will take the marker and we have to join into the first stitch. Chain 1, single crochet into the same stitch and into the next 18 stitches. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 and 18. Chain 1, and now into the first 2 stitches we have to turn our work. Into the first 2 stitches we have to work decrease, so we have to put our crochet hook into the first stitch. We have to grab the yarn, then we need to put crochet hook into the second stitch, grab the yarn, and when we've got 3 loops on the hook we have to make single crochet. Now into the next stitches all the way across we have to work 1 single crochet in each stitch until we will have the last 2 stitches. Into the last 2 stitches we have to make decrease again. Now I've got last 2 stitches, so I am making decrease. I've got 3 loops on my hook, so I am finishing the stitch. Chain 1, and again into the first 2 stitches we have to make decrease, then into each stitch across 1 single crochet, and into the last 2 stitches decrease again. I've got the last 2 stitches, so decrease. So at the moment we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 stitches, and we have to repeat making this pattern into the first and the last 2 stitches decrease until we will have 7 stitches in total. So for in 13, 11, 9 and for next 4 rows. Okay, so I've done my last 1 row, so I've got 7 rows in total, and at the end I've got 7 stitches. And now we have to take the next marker, stitch marker, and we have to make exactly the same on the opposite side. So again we have to join by making chain of 1 and then single crochet into the same stitch, and in each stitch across for into the next 18 stitches. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 and 19. Chain 1 and exactly the same into the first 2 stitches we have to make decrease, then 1 single crochet in each stitch across until we will have the last 2 stitches, then into the last stitches we have to make decrease. So we have to repeat exactly the same as we've done. So we should have again 7 rows, and at the end onto the top of our work we have to have 7 single crochets. Okay, so at the end we have to fasten off, cut the yarn. We need to hide the tails as well. I will leave it for later. And now into the base, into the same stitch as we've joined first time, we have to join the second time. Chain 1, and now into the we have to skip the stitch onto the first row, and we are going into the stitch onto the second row, and into that stitch we have to work 5 double crochets. So we will make shell. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Then we have to skip the next stitch on the next row and into the next slip stitch. We have to skip the first row into the corner. We have to make next 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Then have to skip the first stitch into the second. We have to make slip stitch, skip the next stitch into the third, into the second, 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Skip the first stitch, into the corner slip stitch, then we have to skip the first stitch on the next row and into the second one, 5 double crochets again. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and again skip the next row, into the second slip stitch, skip the next row and into the next one, 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Then skip the next stitch and into the base slip stitch. And now we can fasten off, cut the yarn, and exactly the same we have to make on the opposite side. So we have to join into the same stitch as we joined before, chain 1, skip the first row, into the second, 5 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Then we have to skip the next row, into the next one slip stitch, skip next row, into the corner, 5 double crochets, and repeat this pattern at the end. 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now we have to start working on our strap. So I've done 61 chains because I want to make short strap. If you want to make longer, you have to make more chains, of course. Okay, so I've done 61 chains. Into the second chain from the hook I am making 1 single crochet, and then in each chain across. So in each chain across we have to work 1 single crochet, and at the end, into the last one, we will work 3 single crochets. As I said, when we will have the last chain, we have to make 3 single crochets. 1, 2 and 3. And now we are going on to the opposite side. We have to skip the stitch because we've done 3 single crochets already, and in each chain across on the opposite side we have to make 1 single crochet as well. Into the last one, so into the stitch when we start our round, into the first single crochet, into that stitch we have to make 2 more single crochets. apart from that, in each chain across 1 single crochet. Now I am at the end, so as I said, we've got the stitch with the first single crochet, so into the same stitch we have to make 2 more single crochets, then slip stitch into the first one, and now we can fasten off, cut the yarn. So from this side you can leave long tail because we need to sew this strap to our back. Okay, and when we will be adding the strap to back, make sure that you are making this inside of the back. So not outside, just make it inside on the 2 sides. Back is already done, so I add the strap to the back. As I said, I put it inside of the back. I add the flower. This is the small rose. If you want to make exactly the same, just go to my channel. I've done the video already, so you can watch how to make it. And basically we've got done. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to my channel.